Even when you're sinning, you're with God. When one falls right into God's lap. That's how one falls.
I thought for a while, well, how could I be a religious lesbian? How does that go together? And I thought for a while, well, what if I'm not religious? And it was like almost a physical revulsion, this physical rejection of that thought, like it just couldn't possibly be.
I don't hate my wife. I do love her. I appreciate her. But the sexual part is just something that I find no satisfaction in, except with another man.
It's more shunned by the Jewish people than I believe the Jewish law itself. And it's made out to be something that's a lot worse from society than what the technical halachas really are.
So why couldn't they find a way for us? What's so difficult? I mean, I'm sure if rabbis sat down with Talmudic head, they would find a way. For gay people, for queers.
Gay people always existed in Jewish life, in Jewish social life, in Jewish community life. They were just not treated seriously.
I don't want to be a less than Jew because I'm gay.
And God said homosexuality is forbidden. And this is a revolt against God, an open revolt against God. But God is directly punishing us because he's bringing a sickness that comes directly through homosexuals, and everybody's trying to make the issue like it's an innocent issue. We know that's not true. That's ridiculous. Everybody knows that you can legalize it. They're going to be going in the streets. They're going to be sweeping in our buildings, and they're going to be taking out children because they're immoral people, these people. That people had to break down all the barriers of what they grew up with. They grew up by parents who told them that homosexuality is punished by death through God.
I want to give you a story. You know what? It's easier with stories. I had this woman patient. She was suffering from depression. She was a mother of 12. One day, her husband, who kept on bringing her over and escorting her, knocks on the door, says, "Can I have a word with you without my wife?" And I say, "Yes, sure." And he's a very respectable man, teacher in a yeshiva. He says, "I've taken a vacation from teaching." And I say, "Why did you take vacation from teaching?" He said, "Because I have this tendency of falling in love with those boys. I've been homosexual since I'm 16 or 17. I know that I have homosexual needs and desires." And I said, "Did you ever act on it?" He said, "Never. But my problem is that I fall in love intensively with one of those boys. And I think that I am the cause of my wife's depression." I say, "Well, why is that?" He said, "She knows about it. The fact is that she also knows I can never love her as much as I love any of those boys. Never." And I called the wife in. She says, "He's a saint. He's been fighting his desires for so many years. He made me 12 kids. He was not given the gift of loving me the way he could love others, but he's been doing his best." This was a man that was at that time about 56 years old. Think about it, 40 years of struggle, never acting on it even once. I learned a lot from this case. For me, this is the idea that a gay religious person should lead his life. Struggle with his desire and not let it beat him.
The equation in my head was, Judaism is correct, Judaism states homosexuality is wrong, and I'm homosexual, then Judaism must have the answer. I spoke to this rabbi far from Chicago, where I'm from, because I don't want anybody to know. And he's a very spiritual, Kabbalistic kind of guy. So I went to him. And I told him I was gay and that I wanted to change. And so he told me to eat figs, or dates, I'm not sure which one. I think figs. And to say Tehillim, like around 10 different Tehillim I should say every day. So I did that for a couple of months. I ate figs and I said the Tehillim. I mean, it sounds like I'm an idiot right now, just even talking about, like, what the hell is this? But I did it. I would have done anything. I spoke to this therapist from a medical school who happened to see me for free, because I guess through medical school you can see free doctors. And I thought that's what I needed to do, is to rid myself of my homosexuality in order to be the Jew that I felt that I should be. And he was into conditioning, where you put a rubber band on your wrist, and every time I would see a man that I was attracted to, I would flick the rubber band. You know, aversive conditioning, I guess you would call it. So my wrist was, you know, hurting. I mean, I was constantly flicking this rubber band. And then I felt, well, I can't do the rubber band because people would say, why are you wearing a rubber band? So I had to lie why I was wearing a rubber band. So he said, oh, then bite your tongue. I did that for 2 years. I grew up, I guess you would call modern Orthodox, but when I grew up, I didn't think you could be any more religious than what I was. We kept Shabbos, we kept kosher, the holidays. I wore yarmulke all the time. I davened 3 times a day. My dad at the time, growing up, was a Hebrew school teacher. When I came out to my parents, I had an article about homosexuality in my jacket, and my dad took my jacket to the cleaners, saw the article, homosexuality underlined, and he said, David, what is this? And I didn't know what to do. I was at a total loss. No denying it anymore. And I told my parents. Actually, what I did right then is I didn't know what to do. I was running in the house, and I felt I had to tell my parents something. I went to the piano. I started playing piano. That was just what I did then. I needed to do something, so I just started playing the piano. I don't know what I was playing. After around 5-10 minutes, I went to my parents' bedroom, and I told my parents that I was gay, but don't worry, I'm in therapy to change, and I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be straight. Everything's going to be fine.